What is up, my bookish besties? Welcome back to our channel. So y'all already know, judging by the title, I'm gonna quickly talk about the books that I read in October. Y'all, October started off super strong. I was enjoying all of my reads. I was having a good time. And then at the end of October, I became a sad girl and I didn't feel like reading. So I didn't read as many books as I typically would, but of course, this is a book channel, so I still want to go over what I read and what I thought about. So I end up reading 5 books in October, which is still good. I'm just used to reading like at least 8, but I'll take 5 any day. So I don't have any of these books except one physically. The rest of them I read on my Kindle. I literally miss reading physical books, so hopefully the month of November I can read more physical books. So let's just get right into it. The first book that I read was highly anticipated. It's October, so I wanted to start the month off with a horror book, a banger, and y'all, it was with my book club, Licensed to Thrill, over on Fable. Shameless plug. Link is always in the description box if you guys want to join us. But we read Mary. We read Mary by Nat Cassidy, and y'all, I was super excited about this book. I've heard about this book so much. It's always on my timeline, and I was so excited to get into it. Y'all, this book is basically about a woman named Mary. She is middle-aged. She is about to enter like menopause, and as she is entering menopause, in my opinion, she's starting to see these weird, crazy things, like when she looks in the mirror, when she looks at people, and it's getting off the chain. So she's going to doctors trying to figure out like, what's wrong with me? Can they help me? And they're all like, you're normal, you're perfectly fine. So then Mary has some hardship. She loses her job and she has to go back home and live and take care of her aunt. And that is when this book gets crazy. So this book really was kind of just off the chain, and the consensus of the group was pretty much the same. We all, majority of the time, was like, what the heck is going on? So if you guys have read Mary, kind of explain it to me down below with no spoilers so that other people won't see them. But what was going on? I did not really enjoy this book because majority of the book we were in Mary's head, and I felt like we were in her head too long. I started thinking I was crazy. She has a special attachment to these figurines, which was crazy. I ended up giving Mary 3 stars. I barely made it through the book, so it's probably more of like a 2.5, but we'll just go at 3. Once it's like 1 or 2 stars, I don't really discuss it, but it was a 3-star book. Like, the beginning was so intriguing. It started off with a bang. I was so excited, and then it just fell like to the waistline. So I gave Mary by Nat Cassidy 3 stars. The next book that I read was The Boyfriend by none other than Big Frida. Y'all already know, Kim and I read it, knocked it out. It was a typical Big Frida book. I will say I enjoyed The Boyfriend more than I've enjoyed some of the books that I've read from her recently, like The Coworker, The Teacher. I enjoyed The Boyfriend way more than I enjoyed those 2 books. I end up giving The Boyfriend 4 stars, and basically the title is what it is. It's this woman, and she is, I want to say, dating, and she ends up dating this guy. He's a crazy creep. One thing leads to another, and then a story unravels that is freaking crazy. We all know Big Frida. So if you're looking for something easy to read, fast-paced, something you can get through with a crazy twist in the end, pick this up. 4 stars, Big Frida. It was a Big Frida book. So if you've read one, you know how she goes. The next book that I ended up reading was A Mask of Fes by Matthew Lyon. So this book was freaky. First of all, this book is about a woman who, her and her friends, they end up robbing a bank. They take off. She kidnaps a cop. Her friend is wounded, and they take off to this abandoned cabin that she knows where it's at because it's in her family. When they get to this cabin, something crazy happens and her friend dies. Next thing you know, there's a knock at the door, and it's literally her friend who they just buried at the door. When she opens the door, it's her friend's face, but something is off. So basically, this book is about this woman that's trying to get to the bottom of this creature that's a shapeshifter and can steal people's faces. Story crazy. Started off with the bang. I was intrigued the whole time. I ended up giving A Mask of Fes 4 stars because it was so incredibly long, in my opinion. It was such a long thriller, and it felt like a long thriller. Kim and I read it, of course, and we felt like it took us days and days and days and days to read this book. It was super descriptive, and that's probably why it was so long, which is good. But it was just the longest thriller I have read in such a long time that, I don't know, I was like, towards the end, I'm like, okay, wrap it up. But it was really freaky. It was crazy. If you're looking for some horror for November, I would definitely say pick it up. But that was A Mask of Fes by Matthew Lyons. 4 stars. The next book I read is actually the only physical book I have, and it is Eagle Rock by Dr. Ian K. Smith. Y'all already know how I feel about these big pictures. We're not going to talk about it. But I actually got this book from a publisher, and I was part of like this Eagle Run promotion or whatever. I had it linked in the description box, and it was such a fun thing. Basically, they reached out to book creatives asking, did we want to get the book, and if we did get the book, would we read it and review it? And I did. I read this with Kim, and it was really good. This is an Ash Kane novel. I will say this is the 4th book in the series, so I wish I would have started from the beginning and read straight through because it was such a good book. But it is a series where you can just pick up any book at any time and read it. So yeah, this is Eagle Rock by Ian K. Smith, Ash Kane novel. And basically this book was about a man who is a private eye. He is not with the like the police or the FBI or anything anymore. He's just a private investigator. He is contacted and hired by a victim's son. The victims in this book, it's really crazy, y'all. These are very rich, affluent people. They're coming up dead in crazy ways, like with the women's lingerie on, tied up, killed in the bed or whatever. And Ash Kane is a PI. He's the one that's trying to figure out what's going on. So we get to follow Ash Kane and his journey as he is trying to uncover why in the world are these rich, successful men getting killed? Like, what is this? Is this like a sex trafficking ring? Like, what's happening? And y'all, when I say ate it right on up, ate it right on up. If you don't read any book from this list, pick this one up. This is a thriller author, a black author, and it was really good. So yeah, gave this book 5 stars. I love this book. It was so good. So this was a 5-star. And the last book that I was able to get through in a month, because like I said, sad girl vibes kicked in, I read The Unspoken by Ian K. Smith with Kim, which is the first book in the series. I'll put all the books that I don't have on the screen. And basically, this is when we meet Ash Kane right after he separates from the police force, and he is now on his own. There is a missing girl. Her name is Tegan, I think. And he is hired by her mom to figure out where she's at, what's going on. As this story unravels, it's so many twisted secrets. It's messy, y'all, but it is thrilling. It's a thriller, and I really enjoyed it. I end up giving this book 4 stars. And that's it. Those are all the books that I read in October. Like I said, I wanted to read more books, more horror, but I just couldn't get to it. So with that being said, if you guys have read any of these books, let me know down below, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye, guys.